Well, just the other day, I did a video on how the MCU is awful, how Secret Invasion was terrible, how nobody's watching it. And for once, I didn't get criticism on talking shit about Marvel, but it may have something to do with this. The mainstream media finally admits it's okay to criticize Marvel. All those years of being called a racist and a bigot and a homophobe are kind of vindicated now. But here's the article from Variety. Secret Invasion was a mess, but Marvel had already lost its way. Yeah, no shit. Marvel's been putting out shit for a very long time. That's why nobody's going to see the movies. That's why most of the movies are absolute flops and produce no income for the company. But instead of them calling me a weird conspiracy theorist online, now I get to say, "Ha, I told you so." But only because the mainstream media said so this time. But Disney is finally losing all their media shills, and it's a glorious thing to watch happen. And this article goes over spoilers, but I don't think any of you guys are going to watch it, and if you have watched it, I'm sorry. But Variety goes over to talk about how Rhodey was pretty much always a Skrull from the very beginning, which means everything that happened in the movies that we actually liked was all bullshit, none of it really happened, and we shouldn't care. But that's always been the problem with Marvel, isn't it? How they kill off the main characters, have some woman step in and do all the badass stuff that can't happen in real life because that's just not how things work. So yeah, Rhodey was a shapeshift Skrull who was Rava, who is actually a female. That means a woman saved Tony Stark. Or Gaia, who took all the DNA from all the Avengers and combined all their powers together so that she could be the boss bitch of the series. But here they go. The very thing that allowed the studio to soar in the 2010s have become an oppressive burden in the 2020s. First, there's a Marvel Cinematic Universe itself. The MCU was pretty good up until all the politics came in, but hey, at least they're admitting it's not great. Secret Invasion wanted a tightly wound conspiracy thriller that built off the events of Captain Marvel to dissect how Nick Fury had become so formidable. Instead, it was weighed down by the events of Endgame and the apparent need to cram as many superhero references as possible into the finale. No, they cucked Nick Fury, made him a bitch, made all the women come in and say, "We have to save the world because the men fucked it up." And then nobody watched it, and what do you expect? They literally killed off everything that made the MCU watchable. But something I ranted about in my last video, filmmakers often describe Marvel's approach as highly collaborative. When I interviewed Love and Thunder director Taika Waititi last year for Variety's cover story on Portman, he said that Marvel's films change all the way through post-production. What that means in real terms is that Marvel's layer of creative executives led by Feige will rip up scripts and storylines throughout the creative process if they believe they aren't working to their satisfaction, which means they have no script at all, they're just winging it and they throw in their ideology to get those ESG bucks. No matter how far along that project is, nor how disruptive the changes will be to the finished film or series, yeah, they don't care. They haven't cared for so long. As Marvel aggressively expanded in the 2020s to fill the Disney Plus pipeline, which is utterly failing, I couldn't imagine why. It's not like I've talked about that before. The seams began to show and then rip apart. Visual effects suffered. Yeah, they have. God, She-Hulk was probably the worst offender of that one. And visual effects artists were not quiet about it. Final episodes of TV shows and the final acts of movies often felt rushed and sloppy. No, the entire thing felt rushed and sloppy. Because there was never really any direction to any of the stuff they were doing. To be clear, audiences haven't cooled entirely on superheroes. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Sony's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse are major hits because they focus on the emotional arcs of the characters rather than servicing a wider cinematic universe. No, they focused on a character rather than pandering to woke ideologues who are bitching about diversity. And it's not so quite true about Across the Spider-Verse. But I think you get my point. But neither of the films became a Barbenheimer-style event in the way the Marvel's films routinely did in the 2010s. Audience taste just may be veering away from the superhero flair. No, you contradicted that point just a paragraph ago. And see, this is what I was getting at. They don't understand their success. They targeted Barbie for women. It was a success. They targeted Oppenheimer towards men. It was a success. They had a target audience that they appealed to They went after that audience and they got them. There is no there is no diverse bullshit audience that wants to see all this shit in the MCU. There isn't. That's why the numbers are done. Disney CEO Bob Iger even admitted in June that Marvel's exponentially increased output for Disney Plus diluted focus and attention from the studio, strongly suggesting that Marvel will be dialing back its output closer to pre-streaming levels. Feige will no doubt be back in Hall H again, but this time he, too, may need to channel the power of all the Avengers to save the MCU. No, you need to go back to basics. Figure out who your target audience is. Target your key demographic that actually wants to see this and get rid of the woke nonsense. Like, this isn't something new we've said. Just one director just happened to stumble upon it. And like I said, they're too dumb to realize it. How do you not realize you made a movie for women, with women, marketed it towards women, and it was a success? Or you made a movie about a man, for a man, and targeted men to watch that movie, and it was another success. How the fuck do you not understand that? Oh, wait, I think it has something to do with this. Netflix's The Witcher EP, Tomek Baginski, says series made simplifications to the source material primarily because American audiences would not grasp a higher level of nuance and complexity. They think we're all stupid. That is quite literally it. They don't think you can keep up with their vision. They don't think you can keep up with their storylines. Except we played the games and read the books. We know what the hell the storyline is. These narcissistic, stupid fucks think they're smarter than everybody else when, in all honesty, they're just fucking retarded. They don't even have two brain cells to rub together. They think they're smarter than us because they're a director. You didn't write the damn source material. We like the source material. That's why we paid for it. These people think they're hotshots because they work for Disney or Netflix. Meanwhile, the companies are losing billions because nobody wants to see their stuff, and the royalty checks are only a couple $100 at best because nobody's watching it because nobody wants to see their trash. But they think they're geniuses making just the most glorious thing ever. And they think everybody else is stupid, not able to follow the plot. No, we follow the plot. We think your plot is stupid. We hate it. We don't want to see it. I used to say these people probably huff their own farts. I literally think they huff gasoline and paint at this point. I mean, who can possibly think, "Hey, these books are doing good. I'll rewrite them and make a TV show out of them." But then again, I'm smarter than them. Even though they like the books and they could keep up with them, they can discuss them for hours. But no, it's too complex for them. We got to dumb it down. But again, that's why all these companies are going out of business. We're watching all these news articles about how everybody's laying off for AI because the AI does their job better because they are just that dumb. You know what, guys? What do you think about these stupid directors saying you're not smart enough to keep up with the plot when all they're doing is remaking something that somebody else wrote that people actually paid for? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you drop me a like, make sure you share out this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.